Getting your nails done used to be a hassle. You try to do it yourself, which I've tried many times. They look like shit. They look like they have been painted by a 5-year-old. During the pandemic, before I had access to this revolutionary product, my husband did my nails. I posted on my Instagram page. I've never seen something so upsetting. And it was like the lightest pink you could find. I looked like a gnarled, nailed woman. It was horrible. And trips to the salon are expensive. And also during COVID, I'm slightly warier to go to a salon and they chip. And I will tell you, I finally got my paws and my claws on the Olive & June Mani system. It is the answer to salon perfect nails at home with polish that lasts over 7 days and it does not chip. Okay, you can actually use this. I myself have never been able to do my right hand. This is a big problem in today's world. And the Olive & June Mani system, it's 5 steps. It comes complete with tools you need in one box. So you can give yourself the perfect manicure, okay? Including Poppy. It is a patented brush handle. It makes it so easy to paint with both of your hands. The polish is shiny. It lasts at least a week. Mine is on my 2nd week. It doesn't chip. Everyone will think you're wearing gel nails. They shine. These polishes come in a box that it truly is like a present to yourself. You open it. The colors are so gorgeous. You have everything you need. You sit down and do it. And it feels like you've accomplished something. They're absolutely beautiful. The polish doesn't even compare to polishes I've used in the past. Not only can I not do it, but they just look terrible, to be honest. I love their formulas. I love the way my nails look. Your new nail life is here. Get 20% off your first Mani system when you use promo code Housewives at oliveandjune.com. That's the code Housewives at oliveandjune.com. Say goodbye to expensive bad manis. This is the new you, and that's what we need this year. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Casey. I have to say I'm titillated today and not in the sexual way that I've discussed in the past. I mean, not that this isn't sexual, but
I know. But your long pubes have been titillated by Bridgerton the last few months.
Yes, Bridgerton was one thing, but this is a whole other vibe.
It really is. We are joined. You know what? He need no introduction, though we will. He is, I would say, the daddy, a first responder in our midst of the Real Housewives franchise. He is the king of Bravo. He has a new show on E! Called For Real, the story of reality TV, all about the evolution and creation of reality TV. I thought he created it. He did not, but he capitalized on it, and we've capitalized on him.
Yeah, that's what I learned from the show, was that he did not create reality TV, which I'm still not sure about.
I know. I want to see some fact checking. This is a man who I will say, I'd like to describe him because I think he's known for the same 2 things that Teresa from New Jersey last night said she was known for, and that's her eyes and her ass. Please welcome Andy Cohen.
My crossed eyes and my tiny hiney.
Oh, Andrew Cohen.
Hello, ladies. I'm so happy to see you.
This is a thrill. Thank you for being here. We always love having you.
I really appreciate you having me.
That doesn't sound real.
No, I mean it. No, trust me. Trust me. I really mean it.
We wanted to show you some respect and don our interviewer hats today, just to really...
Yeah, we have notes.
I love it. And I also am excited because we had 3 great... I was so psyched when I saw this was today because I was like, wow, we had really strong Jersey, Dallas, perhaps the strongest episode of Dallas of the season, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And Atlanta. So, it's a good week to be here, I think.
It's a great week. I mean, it's always a good week in our opinion, but Andy, let's get right into the episodes. Okay, we got to start with Atlanta. We just have to. Tell us everything that's going on inside your heart and mind when you first saw the cut of Bolo's Bolo.
Oh.
And just take us from there.
We want to know what were your thoughts.
I mean, first of all, I have got to salute the post team at Truly Entertainment this year who have been really thinking outside the box this season, especially. And when I saw the interview set up with Kenya in the Sharon thing, I was like, oh, wow, we're really in for it. And she's acting, and this is a setup, and this is a choice, and I loved it. And then, Listen, anytime you see a negotiation with the crew where they're saying, okay, are the cameras going to be down? And then you see the cameras going off, but there's one that's still on. You know you're in for a great time. And Bolo, I thought it was wonderful. I don't ascribe to the witch hunt of sorts that's happening to find out who did what with who. I don't think in this day and age of sex positivity, it's the thing, you know?
Who cares? I'm so happy it happened for them. Like it's such a fun night. Like when I saw the women of Dallas, no offense to them, like sitting around with their weird hair extensionist shaman, I'm like, everybody needs to see what's happening on Atlanta. Like we're getting Nest cams. We're using those weird like doorbell cameras or whatever. Like they're taking things to another like level. And I especially hope Beverly Hills has seen it.
And I also want to say that the women of Atlanta bring me so much joy. Their joy is so addictive and so it spreads throughout. So even when we're getting a Bolo party, which is huge and amazing and like covers 10 episodes, or even when we're just in Shamia's basement.
Right. For the niece's party, yes.
Which was
with a Party City banner.
It was like the parties of my youth in some kid's basement where like Atari was the big, it was so much joy and fun that I needed it.
You know who I think is really great is Drew.
Oh, yes, I knew you were going to say that. Never has someone wanted to make their booty clap more in every show. And I'm so appreciative of it. She's so fun.
She is all colors of the rainbow. She's giving us a lot, I feel like. I feel like she's a really strong housewife, and she maybe came in as a sleeper, and then you're like, wow. She's very likable, I think.
Oh, my God. And
I
funny,
love Drew.
Smart, like, claps back, like, in the funniest, smartest
game for fun. And I love Toya, too. I mean, Toya's a different flavor, but Toya's bringing fun.
She's bringing a lot.
There's some complex energies going on there, maybe at war with oneself.
Wait until you see her at Fallon's Halloween party next week.
We have a Halloween party at Fallon's?
Yeah, costumes. Yes. And unfortunately, Kenya Moore is wearing a headdress. Yes.
I saw that in the preview.
I did not.
I didn't want to bring the mood down. Okay, Andy, this is a question. So you always ask listeners to send in their questions, and we did the same. We maybe weren't flooded, but we got some. No, we did get a lot actually. And
it's not like I'm unavailable to ask a question. It's not like this is a unique opportunity. I mean,
we're like, this is your one and only chance. You'll never see him again.
Right.
You'll never get to him. You'll never get to him. He's not accessible.
He's not available in any other venue except for this one.
There's never a microphone in front of me.
I feel like you're just answering a landline with just questions. But everyone wants to know, and it's truly my favorite question too. When is Marlo getting her peach?
I don't know. Obviously, that's a conversation that we have all the time. Is it the right amount of Marlo that we're getting now? Is there a need for it? I understand the rallying cry, and I respect it, and it's an ongoing conversation.
Okay, very.
Okay, this is like what my manager tells me when I'm not going to get a role, and an ongoing conversation.
But yeah, they love you.
Right.
They've always been a fan of you. Always been a fan.
Yes, they're such, oh my God, they're such fans of
so many people are in your corner. Okay, wow. Well, I just feel like all the women at that party brought it so much. Do you think someone on our show has asked, like, should some of the aunties retire? And I'm going to throw out a Cynthia Bailey, who I love. None of this is not about loving.
No. And
someone even asked for a Candy. These people are bringing so much, and I don't agree with that. But I'm just curious, like, should a younger guard be ushered in?
I don't like the idea that of it needs to be younger. I
guess I meant newer energy, not young.
I think a shuffling of a deck is always interesting. I think that, Cynthia is someone who I think has gotten such a rap over the years as being, people have accused her of being boring. But if you look at the story that she's generated and the things that have happened to her, and I just felt so bad for her this week. on her wedding, I mean, she was really, I've never seen her so down as she was at her rehearsal dinner with the Papa Johns and the Wendy Williams. And then, I mean, now walking around that party, kind of trying to figure out the bolo. I love a low energy lady. And I want to know,
Robin, Mal,
what Mal's pulse rate is. Because she is a calm lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's been through 3 of these weddings with Cynthia.
I feel like Mal and Cynthia's mother always, and I love them, but they're a bit of a wet blanket. like in the best, like we need that, but they're always like, here's something bad.
Listen, the 2 of them hiding that wedding certificate or whatever there will never be a more iconic wedding moment on the Housewives at the zoo in the dinosaur hall. That was really, and they're like, should we give it to her? And they're like, no, we'll leave it at home. Like, that was amazing.
It was so amazing. I do love her. Yeah, I guess I love Cynthia too, but I have a question about when it is time for someone to move on. Because I know you work with a team. I think a lot of us, I just picture you behind like one big desk with like that says Housewives on the edge of it.
No. Many group conversations, yes.
Are you texting each other being like, here's a controversial thought, so-and-so goes? And is everyone throwing back thumbs ups or like, how dare you? Or
yes. We had a really provocative call a few weeks ago, early in a season that is on right now about like, well, what if we did this shocking thing or that shocking thing? So I think there are always things that we discuss, and sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't. And it also, we like to see how a season progresses and see how people feel about, see how the audience is feeling about someone. And then I have to say, people's performance at reunions make a big difference. Mary F. Cosby at the Salt Lake reunion, she went in as a sleeper, and yes, she fell asleep as well, but
who amongst us? Yeah.
Right. But I thought that was such a strong performance at the reunion by Mary. And I thought she had a lot of really smart things to say. You kind of saw the preacher in her. And she was, I thought she was great. So I think the reunion performance makes a difference.
I love that you even call it a performance like this. We're gonna get into your new show, but it's kind of like that is now the crossover. It's like it is a performance. Look alive,
yeah.
Meredith.
Speaking of Salt Lake, I know you've addressed this a little bit, but it was a big question we got, which is about Mary, like kind of coming out of the closet, really, because she was filmed a lot in her closet.
Truly, literally.
The truth is, I think there were discussions about whether she was going to be full-time or a friend based on her connectivity with the group. And so I think that was the result of that conversation was what you saw. It was a season 1 show. And considering that, it was so strong. And I am so glad that Mary was there. And she was certainly fun to talk about and fun to see when we got to see her. And so,
but it almost made you want more of her. And then by the reunion, to see her shine was really kind of fun because there's so much going on there. But I was tearing up when Granddaddy came on. And Danielle's attracted to him.
I'm not attracted to him.
All right, if you are.
No, I said I was attracted to Whitney's.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Whitney's father.
Granddaddy is
Whitney's dad?
Okay, here's what I will say about Whitney's dad. Okay.
Not a wig.
Oh, that cannot be a wig. There's no doubt that grew from a person. No one could make that hairstyle up. But what I said, Granddaddy, I came around to him because he did make me cry. And I was glad that the fact that he married his granddaughters is a bit too far from me, just personally.
But I'm on board with it now. I'm fully with it. I'm like, right, she married a grandfather, moving on. She's eating snow. Like, I'm so past all of that.
He was at the beginning really not happy to be there. And I was very nervous. And by the way, who can blame him? His marriage is suddenly under a microscope. It's unusual to say the least. And I was very nervous about how it was going to go. And I spent a fair amount of time massaging him and talking to him about, I know you don't want to be here and I'm sorry and da-da-da. And Mary was kind of nodding at me the whole time, like, oh, okay, good. You're making it better for Robert.
You and Mary tag teamed and managed him beautifully. It was a real handoff. It
was beautiful.
But I will say about Whitney's father, yes, his was a heartbreaking story. But when I saw him in his element, in the hair school, really taking to his expertise. You know what I mean? When you see someone being good at something they love, it's attractive. He shined. He came alive for me. I saw the man behind the scissors and I was in. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm attracted genuinely. This isn't like trying to be funny or whatever. And maybe I don't think it is funny at all to Cameron Westcott's husband, Court.
Really?
I know. It's
absolutely. I've always liked a shorter gentleman. I like the way he it's so unfeminist. He hides things from her. I love it all.
Cameron Westcott
she's reaching Portia highs.
She has emerged. She is so funny.
I cannot
get over it.
She's wild. The fact that when I saw her in her hair towel driving the dog through the streets of Dallas trying to get out of the house, that was an iconic moment for me personally.
I agree.
I love Cameron. Tell us about Dallas, Andy, because I thought this was an amazing season. Tiffany's here, who I love.
Love Tiffany.
I think we're very involved with her work story, which is my only small. Although I really enjoyed hearing that too, but I really feel for Tiffany, and I was so happy they threw her a party last week. I was crying when she walked in to see the party. I think she's a great person. I think she's trying really hard.
I know. And then when she said last week, this isn't. I've never been a girl's girl. I've never had a group of girlfriends like this. It really, it was very touching, I thought. And it made you understand her reticence to be doing tequila shots off of Carrie's stomach all day. I mean,
also they also keep shoving her in bodies of water when she cannot swim.
Yes, that's terrible.
Not okay.
I asked Carrie about that, and she said the lake wasn't deep. But I still don't.
It was dark.
Yes.
You can't tell how deep it is.
And also a lake in general. I don't care for a lake.
Me neither.
And she kept trying. And I've been at that place where you're like, I'm trying to make people like me. And then you reach a brink and you start crying.
Yes.
It triggered me. I was like, I feel that from high school. I'm like, I feel so left out and I'm trying. Yeah. I really like Tiff.
Me too. And she's giving me great housewives energy in terms of her beauty, her wealth, and her ability to try to fit in. Those are all getting out of your comfort zone. Those are all beautiful housewives, the gifts.
There are 3 homes that I pause it on anytime we show an exterior shot because I'm so fascinated by the geography of what's happening. And those Vanderpump used to be one.
Yes.
Those homes are Tiffany from Dallas, who it looks like has an incredible estate if you pause it right before they go in. The second one is Candy, because I'm always fascinated in the geography of all of those homes. And then the third one, for different reasons, is Jennifer Aydin's fiberglass castle that looks it looks to be very expansive, but then you see it's on quite a narrow lot.
Is it?
But that's a metaphor for all of them. They look to be expansive, but on a narrow lot. Really?
I froze it last night on Jennifer Aydin's house, which is why I'm dying, because I'm like, what? It's huge.
It's huge. But then you look at the thing and it's like, oh, wait, are they sharing a driveway with someone? It's very, and it's backed up to the Paramus. I mean, I think Marge was like, yeah, you can hear the highway from the back. I mean, isn't Marge hilarious?
I love.
She's so good.
Marge's new teeth are settling, and that has been interesting.
I feel Vanderpump Kyle got new teeth, and everyone else fell in line. It was then like did Vanderpump get them for, I can't remember who, but then it was like all of a sudden housewives everywhere. And Ramona, I remember when she was like, yeah, I'm getting new teeth. I can't do Watch What Happens. I go, whose doctor are you going to? Because she's like, I'm going to Kyle's. I'm like, all right. Okay.
And they're also going to each other's doctors.
Yes. It can be. Yeah.
This is what I need to hear is about the new teeth, because there do seem to be these trends. Actually, someone asked us this a little bit off topic, but there's a new trend. I guess it's been a few years now, really sitting down with mental health professionals. We're bringing in the best and the bright of therapists are sitting down. Do you guys pick the therapist?
Except for Dorinda's chiropractor / therapist, which was
the life coach guy.
Yeah.
And then the shaman hairdresser.
All these are hyphenates. Lots of hyphenates.
Derek may be the biggest charlatan we have had. And I've been behind every single one of them.
There's a galaxy of charlatans that you're dealing with.
Yeah. I know. And I'm putting Derek above the Las Vegas mediator.
Okay.
And
Dallas.
I remember, go back with me to Jersey when they went to like Lake Placid or something to mediate with Joe and Joe Gorga, when Joe Gorga's hairspray got all over them when they got in that fight. And those two life coachy people who were standing there, like they wanted to do some floor exercise and it turned into like a gangbang. And then we helicoptered Dr. V in. Who,
Did you guys pay for that? You guys, we need to get Dr. V here.
We brought that was my bright idea, which didn't necessarily work out.
These ideas, I don't want to keep talking about like the making of it, but it just fascinates me. Like, are there emergency meetings? Do you have on your schedule? Like, I got to talk to Granddaddy and convince him. Your schedule must just be so weird.
I was more in the weeds in the first. When I was in charge of production at Bravo, I was more in the day-to-day weeds for those first 10 years. And I will say in the last, and not to say that I'm not still wading through weeds, it's just different and it's shifted, which is good.
Do they all have your cell phone number?
Most of them do.
Oh, God, Andy.
Or do they pass it along to the other one and someone's like, D'andra gave me this?
Well, what's funny is the newer cities, which are Potomac and Dallas, some of them have it, and then some of them who do have it have said to me, so-and-so wants your number. I'm just checking if it's okay for me to give it to them. And I'm like, well, of course, you're on an ensemble show, so you all can, you know what I mean?
And is this go to a separate cell phone, or
is this the housewives phone?
No.
Like you just have, when that one rings?
I remember when it first, when cell phones and texting first started, I remember like Gretchen and Slade texting me at all hours. And I would be like, it's not. And I would be like, is texting now? Can it just happen? Is it not just during business hours? Because that was news to me.
These women know no business hours. Danielle, let's take a quick break and come right back with Andy. We're back with Sir Andrew Cohen.
I have a question because we were talking about Dallas, and I really want to get into D'andra and Mama Dee because that is like gothic. It is Southern Tennessee Williams drama. Yeah. And when Mama Dee sold D'andra, first of all, I can't get my head around, does Mama Dee hate D'andra or love D'andra?
Well,
because every time in her Instagram, she says something terrible to D'andra. Like she's always like, dogs in the pantry again, just like D'andra. Like it's awful.
Danielle's obsessed with the shade Mama Dee throws D'andra. She texts me every day. She's like, here's a new one.
I'm obsessed. Like I follow her. Like every day I check in with Mama Dee's Insta. And so this week first of all, why was Mama Dee the surprise guest?
Well, Tiffany and Mama Dee, honestly, and you're going to see some very sweet moments with them coming up. But they have a real and a special relationship. So I was so happy when she came in and when she told her story about marrying for money and about stalking Glenn Simmons and that D'andra changed her name to Simmons because it could do more for her. Oh my God.
Mic drop.
Oh. And she's like, but she did. But that's what she said.
She's like, I'm just telling the truth. But it was to sell your own daughter out like that, because I have no doubt that D'andra said that, thought that, meant it with all of her heart. But to then sell your daughter to the wolves, like that was a shock. Like, I can't imagine doing that. Could you imagine doing that to your child? Shocking.
And I feel like the fact that we have Tiffany is almost too much to ask, which is now we have someone that is the career that Mama Dee would respect. And I can't imagine, I don't know where we're headed, but D'andra not like turning on Tiffany almost. If not, I think D'andra's got deeper reservoir than I thought.
Mama Dee has told the other women they don't do anything and Tiffany does.
Oh, she said they sit all day buying Barbie doll clothes. That's beautiful.
Now, can we touchdown on Brandy for a second, the redheaded wonder?
Oh, have you heard the news from this week? And I
did. I mean, yes.
There was a video that came out that appeared to be Brandy's husband, the other redheaded wonder, kind of at a club or something, which also just mainly I was like, is this COVID? What's happening with COVID of it all with this video? But maybe it was a long time ago.
We don't know.
Yeah,
right. I didn't even think of that. I was like, this was yesterday. Oh, it's old.
Could be very old. We don't know when that's from. It's from a crowded club. We don't know when that's from. I will say I went on Twitter the other night when Dallas was on to see what people were saying. And the things people were saying to Brandy, and I was like, wow, this video just came out. Her mother-in-law died in a car crash with her daughter in the car a few months ago. She just had a baby. She could be having postpartum. Like I was like, maybe people could just lay off her for tonight. Wow. Yeah. It was brutal on Twitter. I was like, okay, maybe I was like, I hope she's not on Twitter today.
Well, and also we've heard that she's struggled with depression, in the face of the other thing that happened with her. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we know who, if anyone, can help her through, and that's Jesus.
And next week, of course, D'andra calls her a cafeteria Christian.
I had to look that up.
Is that
I've never heard of it, but I loved it.
It was the greatest Google of my life. Yes. And it's from Cafeteria Catholic, which is like when one person in a faith starts judging other people with inside the faith and like being the arbiter of what's right.
Yeah. I'm like, Brandy, you have so many faults, as do we all, that to sit in judgment of a shaman with bad hair is just not the look you want to be going for right now. You look inside, Brandy.
I think I wasn't dropped in. Not that there's anything bad about it, but Brandy's level of kind of Christianity or like her devotion to Jesus. Maybe I missed something, but it seems she's leaned on him and he carried her on the beach.
I had questions about that too. And I said, is this something that as a result of what she did last year and the fallout, did she embrace Christ more as a result of that? And the answer was no, she's always been pretty religious, I guess.
But she's asking for forgiveness from other people for basically what she did. How dare she then turn around and say what you do is wrong? It's so hypocritical. It's so gross.
It seemed odd.
Danielle was the person on Twitter, it seems, bashing Brandy that you saw.
Look, I'm trying to have empathy, as we all, but I do think that when you're asking for other people to give you empathy for your mistakes, for your quote unquote sins, then how dare you cast stones? That's all I'm saying. Okay. She hasn't given other people a break, so why do we give her a break?
It's a really good point, Danielle.
Thank you, Andy. That means a lot.
Speaking of giving people a break, Andy, a lot of questions, and this has been my burning question. It's both about Erica Jayne and Meredith Marks.
Separate buckets.
Well, but there's...
Well, I'm going to throw them in one.
Oh, are you saying the bucket of not opening up?
Yes, sir.
I am, because it's like, for my job, if I show up on set and I don't know my lines, like that's it. I don't have the power anyway, what I can't do make one misstep. But I will say it's like you are being paid to tell us your life. And I know what you're going to say. Maybe I don't, but it's this legal. But I'm like, ease on down the road, guys. If you're not willing to show me, if I don't hear about Tom and the dementia and the plane, if I'm turning on Erica.
Oh, Casey.
Uh-oh.
She's talking.
Oh. Sorry for everything.
No, I mean, listen, this is what you have to know. We started shooting Beverly Hills and everything was kumbaya. This all happened as we were shooting. So, and she continued shooting. And so you see a lot unfolding.
Maybe she said to herself, look, this is my platform and I'm going to get my side of things out. And I salute her. She's always been wonderful. And thank you. I love her.
No, I
180, total
your
180.
point is correct. Your point is absolutely correct. And it goes back to the season 5, I think, or 6 Roni reunion where I'm hammering Ramona about questions about her divorce with Mario. And she says to me, who are you dating? And I said, I'll tell you when I go on a reality show. You're on a reality show. You opened your life up. And so we expect for you to do that. Now, I think that you will be quite engaged with Beverly Hills. I understand people's concerns about Beverly Hills. The rhythm is different of that show. And they have and they always have from season 1, a sense of we're all on a TV show that none of the other cities necessarily share with the same intensity. I think because they live in LA and many of them are in the business. And I think it adds an overlay, to that show where they're not just doing a full trust fall for the cameras like you see on Roni, say, or Atlanta, you know.
Which is okay, because that's what's brilliant about all the shows is they all have their own weird kind of boundaries and guidelines and Okay, last question before, and then we want to get into your new show is what can you tell us about these rumors of an all-star kind of housewives?
I don't think I can tell you anything.
Oh, yeah. Okay, much like Meredith Marks.
Wow.
On the great. I received thank you. Now, last thing, speaking of Meredith Marks, Danielle, we received a text before it went on
Instagram.
Yeah, that was hard for us to receive. And
I felt jealous, and I don't feel jealous a lot. I sort of know my place in this world.
Much like Mama Dee. Yes. We're jealous.
I'm just jealous. Everybody's jealous. And
that was when we found out from our friend Leslie Grossman that you had sent her through the mail system your Brooks Marks tracksuit gently used, gently worn.
Okay. Now, here's what. Brooks Marks, I said on the reunion show, I want one of those tracksuits. I was sent 2 tracksuits, a medium and a large. I put on the large and I was like, maybe I thought the large was going to be my size. I was like, let me try the medium. The medium actually fit me better. I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm going to wear the medium. So I had only just tried that large on. It was sitting there. And I was like, wow, who is going to be the lucky recipient of this large tracksuit?
I mean, if anything, when you saw large, you should have shipped it over to me.
I would never think, I would think of you as a petite, first of all.
Thank you.
And second of all, I was going to give it to my talent producer, Anthony, at Watch What Happens Live. And he said, I'm covered.
Love Anthony.
And then Leslie Grossman tweeted, all I want, or if I was going to the Golden Globes, I would be wearing a Brooks Marks tracksuit if I knew how to find one or something. And I was like, there's my answer. Someone has put it out there that they want this tracksuit gently used and also, probably too big. But I got her address through Billy Eichner and sent it along. And that's how that happened.
And the rest is history. No, I'm happy for her. I love her. And it felt like that's right. That was the right recipient.
It's not that I'm not happy for others. I'm sad for myself.
That's right.
But also, how would I send it to you 2 ladies when there's only one?
We would tear each other limb to limb, and whoever wins gets it.
One would wear the bottom and one would wear the top.
Of course.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take one more break. And now, first I was confused because I'm like, oh, Bravo is your home. But then I remembered when I dig deeper, E and Bravo are
kind of sister,
owned by the same
Yes.
Yes. So you have so many clips available. There's so many shows. Did you come up with this series, which is called For Real, the Story of Reality TV?
It was pitched to me by Buta Murray said, we're thinking of doing this. They produce The Real World. They produce The Kardashians, a million shows. And I said, wow, I would love to do this. I love reality TV. It's a 7-hour series, limited series. And we really lift the veil on all the great shows from the Housewives to the Kardashians to the Real World. I cried when I reunited the Real World New York cast.
So touching.
I interviewed The Bachelor. I interviewed this couple from The Bachelor. I'm not a big Bachelor guy, but Molly and Jason from The Bachelor, they really talked about producer manipulation in a very frank way that I found quite fascinating. I was also leaning in for my interview with several of the former contestants on one of my favorite shows, The Swan.
That was amazing.
And I remembered these ladies from the day. I mean, these were superstars in my world. I mean, Kelly Alemi, I remember her journey. And I was so waiting to see if these gals had held up with their cocktail waitress makeovers.
Yeah.
And many, I would say there's a little wear and tear. They've grown into them, but I would say that they look good. I also had a real brain to brain interview with Mama June.
You sure? She did have to Google you,
Yes.
which was a shock.
That was fine. I had to
hard.
Google her.
That's
to Google her. And
right.
She revealed that she had spent, was it $500,000 or $1 million on?
She had spent $1 million on.
I said, what did you spend it on? Cocaine. I was like, oh, that's bad. I went into the belly of the beast. I went to Khloe Kardashian's backyard.
The fact that you called her correct pronunciation, which I did not know, which is Khloe, she seemed very touched.
I always call her Khloe. To me, Khloe is the supreme Kardashian.
Of course.
And she's the one to me.
She's why that show is on the air.
I think you're right.
100%.
Yeah. And so I will say I saw the candy jars in their natural environment.
Wow.
You did? To see you on that swinging big kind of bench outside.
It was crazy. I have to say, I was driven to this medical center in the Valley where I got a COVID test. And I said, are you going to give me the results now? And the guy said, no, they're going to take you to the house. I think they do this for all the visitors. They're going to take you to the house. If the second gate opens, you're negative. I'm like,
it's like a game show.
I was like, and my driver was like, yeah, I've done this before. Okay. And I was like, the second gate. I find out my COVID
gate. I would cry if the second gate opened.
It was amazing. I was like, is this the gate? He's like, no, it's the next one. We go. There it is. It opens. I'm like, I'm COVID safe. And then I go into the Kardashians cocoon. Now, I've obviously been to shoots, for Housewives shoots, and at many other Bravo shows. The lighting and amount of people to give you the quality that the Kardashians deliver. This is not like handy cams, and it was an intense, and I walked on, I was like, I need to know how long each of you have been in hair and makeup. Tell me.
See, you always ask the questions, that's the only question I need. I appreciated that was your opener. Right. That was your strong opener. To see you with the Kardashians, I wrote this down. It felt so right. And something that it's an itch that it was something's harmonizing in my body now that I'm seeing this.
I'm happy
These
to hear you
two
say that.
entities together.
Right.
And you can tell Courtney really loves you. And Courtney's not my personal favorite. I don't love coldness in someone, but God, does she warm up around you?
Well, that's nice to hear. It was interesting because I was talking to them about they get rough cuts of the shows. And I was talking to them about what are you looking for? What do you take? What do you ask to take out? and what do you keep in? And it seems like, beyond some small editorial stuff, they do they're looking at their angles, so to speak.
That's it. Just their angles.
Which wouldn't we all?
They've done a great job with that show. And it was so interesting to kind of hear how it started and all of that. And I will just say the fact that blew my mind the most in your series is that you really do go back to like, what's the formula of reality TV, which I think the gentleman from Boone and Murray was saying. He's like, the two of them came together, soap plus news equals reality. It was just like, wow, that's a beautiful concept that we all now to start the real world, which now it's like, and news has fallen, away a bit, but it is news as well. Like it's so.
Well, you go through the beginning,
so cool.
like each sort of episode has its title. Like Shock TV is the one, and you categorize that like by like Mama June and Dr. Pimple Popper and. I Want a Famous Face.
All the greats.
And then there's all the greats. All the greats. The transformational ones. Then the sort of like wish fulfillment, which is the Housewives and Vanderpump Rules and kind of all of those. And
upstairs, downstairs world.
The below deck.
That's kind of the most Bravo episode. Yeah, although we've got Top Chef and Queer Eye.
There's the competitive show, even seeing like the Queer Eye and the Top Chef and like the people with basically talent. You sort of spread it out, like the people with real talents, but like
different silos.
Yes, silos. Thank you.
Right. That's what they say, Danielle, in the business.
Oh, sorry. I have to get more involved.
Yeah, not our
But
business.
even when I was going, like, I think I know everything about Housewives. And then to hear sort of all the women talk, you had these great one-on-one interviews with Candy and sort of the producers behind.
And also, I love hearing from the producers. I always love hearing from the producers and the stories that they tell.
Nene's producer, he's a star. He's a star.
Oh, Carlos.
Carlos is a star. Where is he
Carlos, by the way, was there for the first couple seasons of Jersey. And the first, Carlos knows where the bodies are buried.
Carlos seems to know things. And I loved Candy's kind of producer that had been assigned to Candy that ended up like being instrumental in Candy and Todd coming together. Yes. It's really fascinating because this is things about reality that I always want to get at, but I feel like I haven't. Because on The Housewives, you're not going to show the producers. You know, you'll hear their voices, but it's a great show. And also, it really is.
On Potomac, how I didn't know how, Giselle was saying, I was a little bit nervous. I didn't trust the program. And then I saw that my producers and the people that I'd be talking with and the people behind the scenes were also women of color. And so I knew that I could trust them in a way that they weren't going to exploit me in a way that I had been worried about, which I felt
I saw Portia recently and she was really talking to me about, one of the women in charge of Atlanta and how instrumental, her name is Joy, how instrumental she's been in just as a sounding board for her. Because these people are there when amazing things are happening with them and horrible things are happening with them. And when the cameras go down, they often turn to the person that's standing there and say, what am I going to do with my life or whatever. So it was great for me to hear specifically from Portia, who I think has, we've seen go through so much that's been a positive force in her life and how great that's been for her.
I love Portia so much. Okay, we're just going to do a little lightning round. Oh, and the show, I need to say, it airs Thursday, March 25th at 9 p.m. on E!
7 weeks on E! And can I just also ask you before you did that, what did you guys think of drunk Jennifer Aydin this week?
Can't believe we haven't talked about
Sorry. There's so much we want to talk to you about.
Well, Jen and Bill, we were saying, I love Jen and Bill. They're now like my Ricky and Lucy. And I used to hate them. And now I'm like, oh, there they go.
It's so funny how we have turned 180 on Jen. Like the first season, I was like, I
like Jen.
I enjoy her. I enjoy her I like her husband. I love her children. I love the kid sitting in the waterfall and the other kid I love Jennifer drunk, just in a down dog position on the freaking patio.
It was troubling for sure. Tequila and her, it's I love that some housewives, we know the drink that they need not tango with. We know such intimate things. It was tough to watch, but she kind of won my heart when she was like, this is so embarrassing. I don't think I've heard a housewife ever say this is embarrassing.
When they had to stop the car so she could vomit out of the convertible, when you see them leaving, Teresa's
classic, classy. By the way, do not sleep on the Jersey Shore episodes of Jersey coming up. there is a Joe Gorga moment coming up full of so much intent, not full of all of the intensity from the christening. Okay.
Wow.
If you recall his first episode, it airs in 2 weeks, but next week's is very good. It ends at a very intense point, and then the following week, I've watched it several times. It's very.
Do you love Jen?
Do I love Jennifer Aiden? I think she's really grown. I think I think
fun.
Also what grounds her is all of the stuff with her family, which is really, really touching to see what's going on with the parents. And
her sister is Mal. You know, I love these sisters. They come in a little worse for wear, and they're just like, I'm not fucking putting on makeup. Yeah. And they're like, what are we going to do about mommy and daddy? And it's
that
just
is like constant.
I love it.
So true.
That's also like Portia's sister, who I also love, who's always like, just I love a sister.
Lower key energy.
I love a lower key sister. It's beautiful. Teresa.
Is Salt Lake filming already? Are they starting back up?
Yes,
or
we are filming. It is winter in Salt Lake, and we are knee deep in snow.
Wow. Okay. And last quick question is the COVID of it all. I do have to have a laugh with Atlanta because I'm mixed on it. Occasionally you're like, oh God, it's COVID. But then I'll be honest. I hope this isn't received badly, but sometimes it's like, I don't want to feel COVID when I'm watching these shows.
Don't. But guess what? I mean, you know, this is what you also have to remember, especially when you look at Orange County, which was just really catching air when COVID happened. They were shut down so many times. And also Atlanta, you guys don't see it, but we had to shut down so many times this season on Atlanta. We shut down after Cynthia's wedding for 2 weeks.
Well, I would assume.
Yes.
How do you not?
That was the one piece I didn't have as much sympathy for Cynthia when the Papa John's pizza came out. I was like, Cynthia,
but you do have to always. Cynthia will, if she's going to brand herself 50 Cent, she will go to the mat with whatever she's doing. Like she will not.
Even if the mat is full of COVID.
Well, listen. So I mean, look. I know that we don't want to see it, and we don't want to see it, but would we rather have no shows at all?
No.
I'm saying I'm appreciative of it. It's like I see it, but then sometimes it falls away in a way that I appreciate. And then sometimes it's perfect when Portia has the face shield on and is lowering herself watching Bolo, when Brandy took a shot and knocked into her face shield. Thank you.
Well, I love that she uses her face shield for like comedic effect. Like it's a prop for Portia. She's always like, and I have my glasses in my hand. She's always like, boing, and like taking the
lowering it.
Jamia shows up in a bejeweled face shield in a couple of weeks. I'm like, what is happening? But you know, again, I mean, I think that what's great about Jersey this season, and then New York also, we figured out ways for them to go to, say, Ramona's house and spend 5 days there. And they're under, one roof. And so it's freeing. And so when you see the Jersey women in Lake George or then in the Jersey Shore, they're a little able to feel like it's normal.
Because that's the way we've seen them.
I felt normal. That's what I was saying about watching Jersey the last few weeks, is because we're still, we're out in California. We're still so locked down. And to just see them out and about having a summer.
An order of vodka cranberry. It felt so good.
Yeah, like I was just enjoying, like not even just the drama, but just being on vacation with my girls. You know what I mean? Like I really need that right now after a year locked down. It's such a nice feeling to be on vacation.
Last question, Jackie, where are you? Do you think that Jackie was making an analogy initially? Or
There was no question in my mind.
Do you think
so it was a tough one, but
Teresa, what? I mean, the thing.
Well, no, but you can never make it's why
I can see that triggers a mother. Like, okay, analogy or no, come on.
Listen, it triggers any of us to be called something on a national platform that we're not, or have us associated with something. And I have been. That has happened to me, and it's upsetting, and the truth, and it's not. I guess she could have said, look, Teresa, this would be the same as if I seemingly made up something about Gia and drug. You would really have to.
I think she would have still been mad. I think she saw the words Gia, drugs, cocaine, and those are the words that flashed in her little mind, just being honest. And
do you think that Jackie's husband is bopping around those gyms and whatnot?
I have
simply had
no
very
idea.
attracted to him. I'd bop around.
My favorite husband is Meredith Marks' husband. As we all know, I love a Jewish man. He is so gorgeous.
Really? So, I mean, you have a bullseye on Meredith Marks's back,
but not on her husband.
That's of course. That feels right as rain. That's of course.
Yeah.
What's I don't understand.
Okay, quick lightning round of questions. We will get you out of here in 1 minute, if you will. What is Grow with Gorga?
Still trying to parse that out.
Just wondering.
I'm going to get back to you on that.
Kelly Dodd, where are you at?
It's interesting. I don't think you guys saw the last season. There was a reunion. At the reunion, I said to her, Kelly, I have been getting DMs for months saying that you should be fired, like all the way through, and so many. And she said, well, I've been getting DMs from people all year saying that you're un-American. And I said, oh, because I don't like Donald Trump. And she said, yes. And I thought that was such an important exchange because I was like, here's the thing. Kelly Dodd is from Orange County, where a lot of people share her beliefs in masks and other things. And so, on the one hand, she is a real housewife of Orange County, and this is what she believes, and she's not an elected official. And
sadly,
sadly.
So she's not Michelle Obama, who we're looking at for this information. So I guess that's just an amalgamation of thoughts that lead in no direction to Kelly.
Yeah, but it's the one thing I will say in reflecting on us not covering OC, there is something that's come to mind, which is like, well, we don't. There's a lot of these women we don't love. No. That has nothing to do with things they're up to, and that's sort of why I do love them as well.
That's the thing. I mean, you have to remember the basis of what this show has been about for many years. It's been about women who you either share their points of view or absolutely not. You think they're brilliant or completely clueless. And you have judgments about them, and they're not elected officials. Yes. And it's up to you whether you think they're a role model or.
Yeah, I think it was the combination of this summer and where we were at with the election that it hit harder with OC and when it came out. But I have been doing some deep reflecting on that.
I have a question. Has Michael Darby pinched your bottom ever?
He did pinch my bottom, but I forgot. He pinched it after a reunion one year. And I had forgotten, and he reminded me at the reunion 2 years ago when the bottom pinching was. Ray was like, I've seen him pinch someone's bottom here. Remember this? And then we were like, who? And he's like, you. And I'm like, did you pinch my bottom?
God, now this is.
I know. I had
to me. So was this his defense? I pinch everybody's bottom. Wow. Okay. Who do you think is bringing it the most right now? Just across all platforms.
You mean city-wise?
Just which housewife is just to you shining the brightest?
Well, I mean, I think this is the brilliance of this show that every week someone new. I think Cameron and Tiffany are really, bringing it on Dallas right now. I have my eye on Drew in Atlanta, and
she's looking very strong this season.
She's strong this season.
Strong newcomer. Strong.
Portia, they're all, and then Candy through that event. They're all giving something there. And then Jersey, again, I think Jersey is it's such a great ensemble show, and
it's a great energy right now.
You can't discount the husbands, and
but Joe Gorga is a housewife.
Right. It's great.
Is he a housewife? He's a housewife.
Would you ever do House Husbands?
I don't think so. We cast the Real House Husbands of Orange County in season 3 of Orange County, and it was real boring.
I'm not interested in men's stories. I mean, no offense.
Listen,
Andrew,
it's
I'm
fun to
interested
see
in
the
you.
Jersey guys play poker while the women are gone, or see them all go get drunk on a boat. But like, yeah.
Do you think, last question, that some housewives are coming in now a little too polished, or they know the game because they still enjoy it, like a Jen Shaw,
The
Dr.
funny
Deb?
thing is, this horrible video came out about Jen Shaw a couple weeks ago, and I think there were a lot of people saying that Jen Shaw was putting it on for the cameras. And initially, as on the Housewives, and when I saw that video, I was like, "Oh well, okay, I guess that answers that."
If anything, her abuse of her assistants vindicated her from that other accusation.
See, I have different entry points to things than other people might. Other people might.
I'll say. I'll say.
On that note, though, a listener asked this, and I'm really curious too. Do you like or not like when storylines, plot lines like Bolo and things that come out in the press? Do you like when that happens or not? Like, does it help?
I don't love it. I just feel like we're in the middle of shooting Atlanta. This is so great. I love things to be a surprise. You know, I think it's more fun for the audience. It's more fun for me if I'm watching a show and something happens that I haven't read a lot about. I get that the converse could be that, well, it's a lot of PR and it's hype for the show. But then people, you know, online are like, well, if this is all that's happening this season, then I'm not interested. You know, it's like...
And I think that's what hurt Kardashians ultimately, is that it took so long for it to come out. We knew every single step along the way.
But I always found about that's interesting that you say that.
I still watched every episode, though.
But I found it really interesting with the Kardashians that there would be these huge things happening, like Caitlyn or Tristan cheating or whatever. And I was like, that made me want to see it play out on the show, because you're only getting the headline in real life. And I was like, ooh, I want to really see how this plays out on the show.
Well, I will say that same thing about the Bolo party, which is just now known to me for, because I heard what was, there's a stripper and blah, blah, blah. But it was so much wilder than I had pictured. And we got more footage than I thought we would be getting because of like the window cams and because of the sounds and because of people piecing it together, that I was actually very intrigued.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Please. No.
Casey Wilson's book, The Wreckage of My Presence. You guys, I know you're already fans of Casey, and I'm excited, Danielle, now for your book, because we all know what a brilliant writer you are. But this book, you guys, is so funny. I laughed out loud at a book. And also, it is quite shocking. There are shocking. The woman in New York that you worked for, is she still alive? Will she?
And she would like to make a tape for the real.
Will she? Does she know that it's her?
No.
Anyway, I just want to say, I'm sure it's available for pre-order. I have no idea when it comes out. Casey sent me a copy, an advanced copy. It's called The Wreckage of My Presence. It's essays. And I love the cover and I love the title. It is, guys, do not sleep on this one. It is very, very funny.
Andy, I'm crying.
I also want to say,
so much
I was so relieved that it was so funny, because she said, is there any way you could do a blurb for my book? And I was like, of course. And I sat down, and it's that thing where you're like, am I going to read the book and whatever? And then I was like, holy shit, this is great. Like, I will scream it from the rooftops. It's really, really great. This is my well-worn copy of the book. Like, when does it come out?
I'm so touched. It comes out on May 4th, but I really am touched you said that. I'm sorry I'm crying, but it really means a lot to me. And you've been so supportive of Danielle and I.
I think you're so funny. You two are so funny. And I came late to the party of you guys. It took me a long time to come late. But when I'm in the car, I heard that Rona Glickman a couple weeks ago. I thought it was Danielle's aunt. I was like, oh my God, Danielle's aunt is a find. And I didn't know Danielle had roots in Boston and the whole thing.
Jessica Chapman. Andy, thank you so much for saying that about the book, for doing all that you do that really provides, and I want you to know this in your soul, everyone says it, true like lift to people's lives.
You really have.
That's
in our darkest
cannot
times,
be overstated.
And not just ours, our darkest times, we turn to Bravo and to the Housewives.
I was with a dear friend when her father passed. I went over and slept with her that night. We're packing for her to go home. And we get in bed. She's hysterically crying. And she goes, please just put on Housewives. And we sat there and watched and laughed. And I was like, wow, this is like what Andy has brought us. So thank you.
I talked to so many people who are like, I had cancer or I was going through X or Y. And it was such a good way for me just to go somewhere else and zone out. And so that's great.
Thank you for your support.
Andy Cohen, thank you for Housewives, for your new show, For Real, the story of reality TV, a limited series, which always sounds so sophisticated and wonderful. And it is that, the history and evolution of reality television, Thursday, March 25th. I'm so excited for you, as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The pandemic has made us realize the importance of our health, especially mental health. I myself, in this last year, found meditation through a dear friend of mine's business, Tal Rabinowitz. It's such a chaotic world, and she had a brick and mortar meditation studio in Los Angeles called The Den. And she beautifully pivoted it online. And now so many people are a part of it. And it's called Den Anywhere, which is a virtual community with thousands and thousands of meditators from all around the world. It's just personal growth. I use it all the time. And basically, you can kind of customize an experience. You can take classes. They have spiritual classes. I'm taking a class on the Akashic Records in 2 weeks, which is like how to basically like access the universe's scrolls. I mean, they have everything. Intuition classes. You can meditate from, it's almost like a, Peloton. You can do past meditations. You can join live classes. It's incredible. And Tal is so generous, and she's offering our listeners with access code BitchSesh20 at checkout, 20% off Den Anywhere Unlimited monthly membership. And it's all caps, DEN Anywhere. And the membership gives you unlimited access to live classes, access to extensive on-demand library, access to the on-the-go audio meditations, and you receive 20% off a single workshop after 2 months of membership. So get at it. It's truly been life-changing for me, and especially during this time. Guys, I think you all know I forced Chrysler Pacifica into allowing me to be a spokesperson. They said I couldn't be the main one. They had Catherine Hahn for that. But as you know, I am obsessed with this minivan. And here I am discussing it again, the new redesigned 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. It has an all-refreshed interior and exterior. I am getting this one soon. I'm so excited. More cargo capacity than full-size SUVs and crossovers, wireless Apple CarPlay, phone charging, the most standard safety features of any vehicle, which is, let's be honest, oftentimes when you get a minivan, it's because you have kids. You want safety, like forward collision warning, lane departure warning, and blind spot monitoring. It's available with all-wheel drive capability, and it is the most advanced all-wheel drive system in its class. The 2021 Chrysler Pacifica is America's only plug-in hybrid, which I have, that allows for 32 electric miles, 520 miles total driving, and also qualifies for a $7,500 federal tax credit. The new Pinnacle model in the interior includes quilted leather seats, second row pillows, and Chrysler is offering our Bitch Sesh listeners an exclusive $1,000 off bonus cash offer towards a new Chrysler Pacifica or Pacifica Hybrid. Visit PacificaSesh, SESH.com and sign up to receive this offer, updates, and more from the Chrysler brand.